Okay, good morning everyone. It's now 9:59 and a big number are here in Zoom room. The others are still trying to come in. The others are following us from Facebook and YouTube. Great. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to know where our participants are coming from. Good morning, everyone. I know many of you, this may be our first ever seminar with the Catalyst. May we know, can you please type in the chat box the city, province, or country you are following us from if you are from another country, because in the registration, I saw many many registrations from other countries. So kindly please type in the chat box. Okay, greetings all the way from Samar. Hello, Parañaque, Imus, Cavite. We have from GMA Cavite. Good morning, everyone. From Tarlac, hello, Jason. Quezon City, um, Leo Angelo Asiado City, University of Pasay. Hello. Pila District, Laguna, Pangasinan. Hello. General Santos City, South Cotabato. Good morning to you there in the south. From Santa Teresa College in Bawan, Batangas. From Bacoor, Cavite. Hello. Dipolog City. Big greetings to you. Baguio City, our summer capital. Hello to you all there. Lingayen, Pangasinan, good morning to you. From Tiaong, Quezon, hello, hello. Wow, from Isabela. We have from Isabela, from Binyan, Southern Leyte, Mayong Aga. From Cebu, hello to all of you there. Occidental Mindoro State College, great. Let me see. Let me just make sure our battery is working. Oops, sorry. Just give me a moment. I will just make sure our battery is working properly. Okay, so sorry about that. Uh, yes, we are greeting people from Bicol, Camarines Sur. Hello, hello. Dipolog City, Iligan City, Davao City, San Pablo City, Daraga Albay. Hello to every one of you. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here today on a Saturday morning. I am watching out for some others who are trying to enter Facebook. And so every now and then I will have to look at my cell phone to allow in those who are coming in just now to our Facebook Live. Great. Puerto Princesa, Palawan, good morning to all of you there. Okay, so wonderful. I know you are here because some need the certificates. No problem. We'll give it to you. Especially if you pre-registered, your certificates are actually ready for emailing. As soon as you send me an email, later I'm going to show you where to send an email to claim your certificate. As soon as you send your name as you want it to appear in the certificate, if you pre-registered, you immediately receive your certificate. Good morning also to Nueva Ecija. Hello, welcome to our session today. Some are here for the certificate, no problem. Some others are here because um, your students about to graduate and about to enter the teaching profession. And that's very good that you are here. You are going to have the probably one of the most inspiring presentations to prepare you in this task of teaching, making a difference in the lives of people, forming minds, molding character, impacting the lives of many young people. And I'm going to show you the reason why you have chosen the best profession there is if you are really serious about um, doing a noble thing. Okay, especially now when we are dealing with young people who are of a different generation. Okay, I am expecting a number of visitors from the other countries, so I hope you don't mind. While I speak a lot of Filipino, um, I have to refrain from doing that in order to make sure all our um, participants today Many of you are here in Zoom. Some others are following us in Facebook. And so I can only ask your permission to speak in complete English for the sake of the foreigners who are joining us. Okay? So great. We also have from Taguig, from PNU. Hello, hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Let me introduce myself to you. I am Emmanuel Man Rentoy. I am a graduate of the University of Santo Tomas with a double degree in AB Journalism and Literature. I have a MA in Creative Writing and PhD in Literature. And I also founded a school in Iloilo City. It's called Westbridge School, which is now one of the top schools in Region 6. We have our friends from Zamboanga del Norte joining us here today. Good morning. Welcome to you. And I also served as principal of intermediate school of South Ridge School. It's an all-boys school in Alabang, Muntinlupa, here in Metro Manila. I also served there as vice principal of high school and religion department head. So I was there for 15 years. My alma mater, because that's where I also finished high school. I was one of the very first graduates of South Ridge. But in the last 11 years, I have been inside the classroom for 34 years. I have not left the classroom. But in the last 11 years, I have spent more time going around the Philippines, around the world. I was um, able to speak in Washington, D.C., USA, San Francisco, California, in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, in Sri Lanka, Colombo, um, because I have been championing character formation. Because I see clearly that this is where the crisis is right now. Many young people today um, are problematic with character. More than anything, they need to be reminded about good manners and right conduct and values and virtues. Many of the problems we're seeing in the world today are because of the failure in character formation. And so I go around the world, around the country, reaching out to teachers like you, telling you, please, let's make character formation a top priority. I'm going to talk more about that because that is one of the reasons why the teaching profession is a noble profession. We are not just here to cover the curriculum. We are here to impact lives, make a difference, raise up young people to become good, not just smart, but especially good. So I have been doing all these under CEP Philippines, which is an international affiliate of CEP based in Washington D.C., USA. And also, I am the executive director of the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts Asia, which is an affiliate of the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts based in the State University of New York, in Cortland, USA. Fourth and fifth R's, because our principle is every human being, aside from knowing reading, writing, arithmetic, should have respect and responsibility. Respect and responsibility. Okay? And that's why um, these are two virtues that are very necessary if we are to raise the young people to be men and women of character. That's what I'm championing. That's what I'm trying to do, otherwise known as the Dr. Thomas Licona Institute for Asia. Thomas Licona is considered the grandfather of character formation. He's a very good friend of mine because he's the one responsible for recruiting some of the biggest names in the field of character formation in the world. That makes him the guru, the grandfather of character formation. Great. First things first. Well, okay, one of the things I do is to organize international conferences, invite world-class speakers to come to Manila and reach out to teachers like you so that we are able to get ideas on how to be an effective agent of character formation, teacher. One of the big names I brought to Manila is Dr. Harry Wong, the author of First Days of School, the number one book on classroom management, which has sold more than 5 million copies. And he came here to Manila and spoke to 7,000 teachers from all over the Philippines. And then the expert on understanding the digital generation, Ian Jukes. And then every now and then, I also bring to Manila speakers who talk about chastity, purity, modesty, the beauty of living a moral life, like this, we call it Real Love Revolution. And this one was held in World Trade Center with 15,000 people. And then later on, I also brought Jason Everett to PICC, and he spoke to 4,000 students in the morning and another 4,000 in the afternoon, and many other speakers. All of these are very good friends of mine. And the last one, I brought her to the Philippines 4 times already, but she came up with a new book. And so last month, April, 2 months ago, we decided to do a webinar with her talking about how to raise mentally healthy kids during troubled times like the pandemic. And it was a spectacular presentation, giving us ideas on how to make sure your students continue to thrive, to do well, to succeed in spite of the situation we find ourselves in right now. Okay, that's one of the things I do. So, nobility of the teaching profession is our topic this morning. But first things first, dear fellow teachers, I need to say to all of you, thank you for not quitting, for not giving up, even if we were thrown into this situation, into this circumstance, into this online setup, which, let's admit it, this is not what we were trained to do. Okay? So please be forgiving with yourself. Do not punish yourself unnecessarily, thinking that you are not as good a teacher anymore because of this year's online setup. You continue to be a good teacher. You continue to be a heroic teacher in spite of this situation. Don't be unkind to yourself, okay? So please make sure you get that sense of gratitude that the whole world would like to give to you for continue to teach in spite of these new challenges we see today. Okay, well, let's try to get to know. We know now where our participants are coming from, and they're from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Welcome to all of you. Now I'm interested. This coming school year, type 1 in the chat box if it's going to be your first year as a teacher. Type 2 if it is your second year. 5 if it will be your fifth year as a teacher. 10 if it is going to be your 10th year. Please type in the chat box how many years have you been inside the classroom, what years, number of years that you have spent impacting lives, making a difference. Okay, Ma'am Marilyn Jo, 10 years. Clark, 5 years. Gilmore, 8 years. Great. Linga National High School, Pila Jeannie is on her 10th year. Leo is 5th. Sharina, first year. Great. We're going to inspire you to be the best teacher you can be on your first year as a teacher. Rhea is on her third. Ronamel is in her third. Raymalin, third year. Joyce, 5 years teaching. Teresa Aureo, 10 years. 2 years for Freda. 13 years for Blessy. Hello, you're blessed. Maro is on her second. Gretchen, 8 years. Danielle, one online class tutor, pre-service teacher. Great, you're still a teacher. You're one of us. Wow, Rosario, on her 34th year this year. Ma'am, you are a senior teacher. Maybe you should be the one giving this presentation today. Wilfredo, first year. 2 years in private school si Jason. Elizabeth, 3 years. 3 years for Jera. Brenda, 6 years. Rahayu, 3 years. Esa, 2 years. Teddy, 2 years. Fourth year BEED student si Karen. preparing to be a great teacher. We're with you. Fantastic. 3 years for Dale, 3 years for Diana. Elizabeth is from Zamboanga. Christine, 4 years. Okay, education graduate. Fresh graduate po si Crisel. Jean, 1 year. 2 years graduate si Jaisal. Okay, so fantastic. Whether you're about to start or like Ma'am Rosario on her 34th year as a teacher, impacting lives, making a difference. And I can imagine the so many souls that she has left a mark on. It's amazing. Thank you for teaching and thank you for choosing this profession, which is a noble profession, one of the very few where you can really make a difference in the lives of people and make a difference in society. I'd like to start by sharing with you this video. I'll make sure I am sharing my sound because this is better with the sound. I'd like to share this video with you as our way of expressing our gratitude to you, ma'am, sir, dear teachers, for being teachers. Thank you, dear teachers, for continuing to teach in spite of the what we have been thrown into. This is not what we were trained to do. This is not what we were prepared to do, really, in fact. But in spite of that, you continue teaching. You didn't give up. You didn't quit. I know some who gave up and left the profession and went into online selling, for example, because they needed to survive and online classes is not for them. Okay, but you continue teaching, and for that, I say thank you. Okay, let's continue greeting some people on 2 years graduate, si Jaisel, business teacher, 1 year from Siquijor State College, si Jean. Jason is 2 years in a private school, waiting for an appointment in public school. Good luck to you. Um, and from Baler, Aurora, Crisel, who just graduated 2020. Okay, well, let me share with you some of my personal principles and the principles of the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Hours, which will explain why what I'm going to tell you about the nobility of the teaching profession um, is this way. I mean, I can be talking here to you about the kind of difference you make and the kind of impact you make. But if you understand the principles we adhere to, then it will make sense a lot to you why we say, oh, yeah, that's right. We are not just merely employees as teachers. Dear fellow teachers, please have this very clear in your mind. The teaching profession is not mere employment. It is a mission. It is a vocation. Not everyone is cut out for it. You know that because we've had teachers who didn't survive, didn't stay long. But for those who stay long, this is their vocation, this is their mission. Here's the first principle I want you to adhere to if you're going to make a difference in the lives of people, if you're going to really make sense of what I'm going to say. Every teacher is in charge of forming character. Okay? You are not just science teacher, English teacher, math teacher, social studies teacher. You also are in charge of forming character, molding minds, making sure that the young people entrusted to your care will grow up to be good, not just expert in math, in science, in English, but especially good. And those of you who have been in the teaching profession for a long time, you know this because you have heard students come back to you many years later telling you, Ma'am, sir, thank you very much. I am who I am because of you, my math teacher, because of you, my science teacher. Right? I mean, that's what happens. They think what they have become is because of you. And it's not just because you taught them addition, subtraction, and multiplication. It is because from you, they got the motivation to strive to be the best human being they can be. Because of you, they were inspired to be better, to be kinder, to be less of a bully, to be more committed to an objective, a goal, a personal goal. You see, we are not just here inside the classroom, Zoom room, Google Classroom, face-to-face classroom. We are not just here to cover a curriculum. That's, I think, our next principle. Forming character, molding minds, impacting lives, that's not just another subject. That's what every good educator tries to do. A mediocre teacher will come inside the classroom to finish the chapter, to finish the syllabus, to finish what has to be covered, and then goes out. An effective teacher, a good educator enters the classroom, looks around, and thinks of how can I make my students better human beings. That's why we discipline. That's why we manage the class. That's why we correct kids who do wrong things. That's why we keep on reminding, study, review, please read, spend time going over the books. We keep on reminding them about this, not just to pass a test, not just so they pass an exam or pass a subject, because we are concerned that they will not have discipline if they grow up without being corrected, without being told, without being reminded over and over again. Not just another subject. Education is not just about covering the curriculum, especially for those of you who have not started teaching yet inside the classroom. I see here a number of you indicated you're a fresh graduate, you're still waiting for your appointment, you will still start applying. Well, especially for all of you, please, your objective when you enter later on a school to teach him, your objective is not just to be able to say, I finished the curriculum, I finished the syllabus, I finished the lesson plan. Your objective is to be able to say at the end of every year, I made a difference in the lives of all my students. I made an impact in the lives of my students. My students are better human beings because I taught them math and I taught them kindness to my example. I taught them professionalism. I showed them what it means to be respectful, courteous, responsible, all because I tried my best to be a good teacher to them. Here's another principle, and I've been talking about it already. No other better way to teach character than through the example of our life, the example that we show them. So, you see, you're not going to teach character by lecturing about it. You're going to show them punctuality in the way, you're going to teach them punctuality in the way you come to class every day punctually. That's why I wanted to make sure we start on time. I announced 10 a.m. is the beginning. We started on the dot. In fact, we started at 9:59. That's how you teach students punctuality, professionalism, giving your word that when you say this, that's what you really mean, that's what you're going to do. Okay? So, teachers, you will not be able to teach kindness if you're the kind who shouts, screams, yells, gets angry, gets upset, hurts, harms students. You will never be able to teach kindness that way. The only way we can make the students respectful, kind, courteous is if they see it in the adults like us, teachers, the way we treat them also with kindness. And the next one, number 5, the teacher is the most important teaching tool. You, teachers, are the most important teaching tool. I've visited hundreds of schools. I've given seminars to 75,000 teachers all over the Philippines. And I sometimes would hear a teacher saying, you know, Mr. Antoy, I could be a good teacher if only there is video projector in every classroom. Only if there is a laptop that we are given, a computer that we are given. Okay, those are important things. If your school can afford them, go, get them. The latest ones if you can afford them. But that is not what will make you an effective teacher. And that is not what will make the school a great school. It's the teachers who make the school a great school. I tell you, the students go home, or now that we are in this online situation, online setup, the students go to their dinner and they talk about you. They talk about the teachers. They don't talk about the facilities of the school. They don't talk about the equipment used. They talk about the teacher. If she was so nice today, if she shouted today, if she showed frustration today by uttering a foul language and by showing that she is very upset that we are not doing our part. So here's the thing. When somebody asks you, what's your job? What's your profession? Don't just say, I'm just a teacher. Teacher lang. No, don't. That's not teacher lang. That's not just a teacher. Tell them, I am engaged in the business of enhancing lives. You get that? When somebody asks you, oh, what do you do for a living? I am engaged in the business of enhancing lives. Think about it, my dear fellow teachers. That is our profession. That is what we do. We are enhancing lives. It's because of you and me that these young people entrusted to our care will grow up good people, men and women of character, because we teach them to do our example, to do our words, to do our reminders, but especially through the powerful example of our life. You are the most important teaching tool. And then, sorry for the administrators who are here, it's not the facilities, it's not the board of trustees. The school is only as good as its teachers, because parents, the community, they judge the school according to what they see in the teachers. So, if you believe in these principles that I just rattled off, then you will realize now why I'm going to talk about the teaching profession as a very noble profession. Okay? Now, before I get into reflections on powerful quotes for us teachers, in order to realize more clearly our nobility, the nobility of our profession, I'd like to say these three things to you. I'm going to um, stop screen sharing because I want to be talking to people, to you, and I need to see you, your names. Three things I never fail to mention when I'm talking to teachers. Okay? Three things. Um, Wherever I go, even in Sri Lanka, I did it. In Kuala Lumpur, I did it. In San Francisco, I did it. When I'm talking to teachers, I never fail to mention these three things. Number one, teachers, do not ever, ever use foul language or bad words. Okay? Because when we use foul language, bad words, we lose our effectiveness as agents of character formation. We lose our our reputation plummets. Okay? So even if sometimes you think it's in place, I have to utter a bad word because sobra na talaga yung batang yan. I mean, that kid is too much already. What he did is really so bad. And then sometimes we think it's justified. Never is it justifiable for a teacher to resort to foul language, bad words, profanity, curse words. Besides, when you do that, you are telling the kids it's okay to hurt someone with words. When you do that, the kids will think, um, you talk about self-control, but you yourself, ma'am, cannot control yourself. So what's the point of listening to you? You see, that's what happens when we utter a foul language, bad word, curse word. We lose our effectiveness as agents of character formation. Number two, I never fail to mention when I'm talking to teachers, teachers, you don't have the right to get angry at the students if they do not submit their work on time, if they don't come to class on time, if they don't give their reports on time, if you yourself, ma'am, come to class late, submit your grades late, return the test papers to the students late. Uh, in other words, what I'm saying is you and I, teachers, cannot demand from our students something we do not first show by our example. That's just how it works. You and I cannot require our students to be kind, for example, if we ourselves are unkind. We cannot require them to have patience if we ourselves don't show patience. We cannot require them to take their work seriously if they see that we come to class unprepared. We look like we are just ahead of them by one chapter. Sometimes it can happen like that. A teacher teaching and obviously unprepared or seemingly only ahead of a few paragraphs of the students. Here's number three that I never fail to mention when I'm talking to teachers. Teachers, please do not ever criticize your school, your administration, your principal, your officers. Your job in the school you're working in is to get the students identify themselves with a school. Believe it or not, that is your main task, to get the students identify themselves with a school's mission, vision, core values, what the school stands for. You should get the students to identify themselves with those core values. But if it's you yourself who criticize, say bad things, bad mouth, your principal, your administrator, your school, then you cannot anymore succeed in the task of getting the students identify themselves with the school. But as they say, don't worry, you can still be a good teacher in another school, but not that one that you criticize, that you badmouth, that you attack, that you say bad things about. That's very important. And that's why I stopped screen sharing, because I should be telling this to you straight to you, to your face, saying, please don't use foul language. Show by example before you even demand from the students. And third, be very united to your school, to that school that has hired you, not just to cover the curriculum, but especially to mold minds, form character, and raise these young people to become good men and women. Okay, let's reflect. The nobility of the teaching profession is such that you have to think about the impact of what you're doing. Then you will realize this is a noble thing I'm doing. It's probably the most noble thing any human being can be doing. You never forget a good teacher. That's how it is. And I know many of you, maybe Ma'am Rosario herself has experienced this. Alumni homecoming, students coming back home to their alma mater, very excited. They ask around, is Ma'am so and so still here? Is Sir so and so still here? Because they want to look for you. They want to shake your hands. They want to say to you, Ma'am, Sir, thank you very much. I am who I am because of you. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to say, what's your name, Iha? Who are you nga ba? We cannot even remember them. Not their names, not their faces, but they have never forgotten us. They cannot forget us. And as far as this student is concerned, the impact we made on his or her life is such that he is successful now thanks to our corrections, reminders, insistence on excellence, repeated reminders about working hard, and especially because he, she saw in you what it means to be a professional many years ago. And it's only then you're going to realize it is worthwhile after all. So, those of you who are only about to teach or are only on your second teacher, please don't let your first 2, 3 years experience judge how things are going to be for the next years. In fact, later I'm going to tell you, regardless of how you were before, we are now looking forward to this time, not just covering the curriculum, not just teaching a subject, but raising young people to be good men and women of character. You know, I like that expression. Teachers, you are entrusted with students to take care of, not subjects to teach. Think about it. I prefer the expression students that are entrusted to your care, not simply subjects that you are given to teach. In fact, the principle you're going to hear again and again this morning is stop teaching subjects and start teaching children. Stop teaching subjects and start teaching children. Now, let's think about it. Here are some reasons why, now more than ever, your job as a teacher is far more important. This quotation: if kids come to us from strong, healthy, functioning families, our job is so easy. If they do not come to us from strong, healthy, functioning families, our job has become far more important. Why? Because now we have more and more students entering our classroom, entering our Zoom room, entering our Google Meet room, and they come from broken families. Or they come from dysfunctional families, irregular situation, not necessarily the parents separated, but simply because the father is absent. The father is working in Dubai, the mother is in Hong Kong. I know a student being raised by the neighbors because both parents, mom and dad, preferred to be able to send dollars back home. Now, we're not speaking badly of OFWs because all the OFWs I know did that or do that, leave the country to work abroad out of love for their family. They want a better life for their family. So even if it means a big sacrifice on their part, they do so to give a better life for their family. But teachers, you and I know, and those of you who are just about to teach, you will know that if the parents are absent, if the parents are not there to supervise, it's just not the same. Our job becomes more important and harder a bit too. Many times, the problem we see inside the classroom, the problem students we see inside the classroom, you trace it back to the absence of the father or the mother or both. And it's like that. In my 34 years inside the classroom, that's what I many times observe. So, your job has become far more important because now we have more and more cases of students coming inside our classroom and they come from irregular situation. Some of your students come inside the classroom with an unlit candle telling you, ma'am, sir, please light my candle. I don't want to be in the dark anymore. It's too dark at home. There's no mom, there's no dad. And my mom beats me up for the slightest mistakes I make. Some of them are not after science, math, and English. I mean, really, I tell you, the pandemic has shown us, in fact, that everything they need to learn is already online, is already available in the internet. Everything about calculus, chemistry, science, math. And in fact, many things in the online are more exciting. They can learn addition, subtraction, division, multiplication in a very exciting way through the games available in online, in apps, in the cell phone. That's what we are seeing now. They don't even need the teacher to teach them science, English, and math. The materials are already there available. But here's the thing: the internet cannot teach them love, faith, piety, patriotism. The internet cannot teach them kindness, respect, responsibility. Only you and I, only adults can teach them that. That's why our job as teachers has become far more important, especially in forming their character. not just in science, English, and math. That's how important our job is. We are sometimes taking the place.
Answer it.
You see, research tells us these kids you have inside your classroom today are what we call the digital natives, the digital generation. They learn how to use the gadget even before they learn how to walk and talk. That's the kind of students now you have inside the classroom. They learn how to use the gadgets even before they learn how to walk and talk. So they're experts in the use of technology. I mean, if you don't, if you've never watched TikTok videos, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, wow, they're very creative. And it's manipulation of technology. Um, and we feel embarrassed that, "Oh, how does he do that? How did he do that?" Many of us, when we hear about TikTok, immediately we want to dismiss it. "Oh, waste of time." But you look more closely. Yeah, sometimes it's a waste of time, but that's creativity that is beyond our capacity. So the young people today don't know a world without cell phones, without computers. That's what we are dealing with. And therefore, we have to teach them according to where they're coming from. We're going to talk more, a little more about that. Okay, there is a fantastic magazine. I encourage you to try to get hold of, to read. It's entitled Educational Leadership, the best research done on learning, teaching, education. They publish it there. And one of the best um, research they published is this: top traits of an effective teacher, that is based on a 50-year study spanning 50 years. They asked thousands of teachers and students, what are the top traits of your effective teachers in your lifetime? They collated them, and then here are the top three that appeared. Okay, number one, an effective teacher is a good classroom manager. That one who doesn't resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling to get his students do what he wants them to do. Okay, that's disciplining. Classroom management is different. In fact, the principle I give is stop disciplining and start managing. Those are two different things. Well, that's in fact one of the best-selling seminars we have in Catalyst. Most of the time, that's where many, many people register. We're rerunning the series, and I think on the fourth day of the series, June 21 to 25. June 24 is on classroom management. How to get your students do what you want them to do without ever having to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, getting angry. And that's how to be an effective teacher, being a good classroom manager. Number two, designs lessons to reach mastery. Teachers, I am not a fan of teachers who say, in my class, half of them fail. I fail half. I'm not a fan of a teacher like that, because I'm going to ask, how did you design your lesson for 50% of them to fail? An effective teacher will design the lesson for maximum understanding of the students. Otherwise, something is wrong with your design, or something is wrong with the way you teach, because you are supposed to teach in a way that the students will understand. Understanding by design. In fact, the research says, the survey says, those effective teachers designs their lessons, design their lessons for the students to reach mastery, not just understanding, but even mastery. And that's the highest, second highest in the computation, in the collation of the survey. An effective teacher designs lessons to reach mastery. And here's number three. An effective teacher has positive expectations that students will be successful. You see, you enter the classroom with a desire to make your students succeed, not to fail. And you do everything you can to motivate them to be successful, to work hard to be successful, to study hard to be successful. That's an effective teacher. Those are the top three traits that appeared in the survey as the most, um, the top traits of effective teachers. Let's continue reflecting. Teachers, we affect eternity. No one can tell where our influence stops. I mean, please realize it. You impact the students in more ways than you can ever imagine. In fact, some of the students even start copying your mannerism. No, even your wrong grammar, sometimes they copy. Our influence on them is so powerful that they imitate us in many ways, in many things, in our expression. Before you know it, even the way you walk and talk, they will imitate, they will copy. We affect them, and not just in the 200 class days we have inside the classroom or in the Zoom room or in the Google Meet room. We affect them for a long time. Here's the sad thing. This influence, this affecting can be positive, but it can also be negative. Here's the truth. I know some students who grew up to be full of angst, frustrations, resentment towards adults, especially to teachers, because of one terror teacher or another in their past school years. I mean, think about it. There are some students who grow up with that fear of authority because of one terror teacher or another who hurt them, who scarred them for life, even, you can say. But here's also the truth. Some of you decided to become teachers thanks to some teachers, good ones, who impacted you, who inspired you, who made you realize, I can make a big difference if I am a teacher. So, it's for positive or negative, the influence we have on the students. The session today is nothing else but an invitation. It really is nothing else but an invitation to all of you, dear teachers. Let us be positive influence on our students and let us impact them greatly, deeply to the end of their life. One of the best teachers in the world is Rafe Esquith. He wrote a book, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire. And he asked the question, why is it that we teachers sometimes impact greatly, sometimes very minimally or even superficially? You want to know the answer? When are you teachers able to make a really great impact on your students? The answer is this: when you teach them life skills. You see, you make a great impact in the lives of your students if you don't just teach them how to pass a quiz next time, how to pass a long test next week, how to pass a final exam next month. You and I are especially able to make a great impact when we give students skills they will need for the rest of their life. Life skills. Like what? Skills like um, the ability to evaluate, synthesize, analyze. If they learn that from us, our impact is great. In fact, that's the reason why you look back and you are very grateful to the teacher who taught you how to speak, how to write, how to recite properly with confidence. Those are the teachers who gave us skills we needed for the rest of our life. That's when we especially make a great impact. So, kindness is a skill, a virtue they need for the rest of their life. You teach it to them, you've made a great impact. Sense of responsibility, respect. hard work. If you're able to instill these things in the students, you are not just teaching them a skill for a quiz, a skill for a test, but something they will need for the rest of their life. And you have made a big difference in the lives of your students. And we can really say that you are engaged in the business of enhancing lives. A man or woman who makes hard things easy is the educator. Okay? So, I sometimes meet teachers who are like that. They brag about their subject being the hardest, being the toughest, being the subject with the most number of people not passing, not making it. Well, I have to go back to the teacher and say, why can't you make your subject easier by making the student understand, by designing your lessons in a way that they will find it easy? Then I can say you are a real educator. I mean, isn't it like that? We've had tough subjects in college. We had, I didn't like calculus. It's so tough, it's so difficult. But if the teacher is very good, we say, wow, I understand. It was difficult, it was tough. I had to spend time studying, but the teacher made me understand it. It's easy. It's easy pala. I mean, that expression of we didn't realize it was that easy until this teacher showed us the way. Okay, here's another quotation that I want us teachers to reflect on. Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I've met teachers who are arrogant because they're valedictorian, summa cum laude, honor students, geniuses, okay. But you know, the students care. The students don't care about your valedictorian, summa cum laude. So don't go around flaunting it. Show us first that you care for us enough that we will learn. Okay? So I don't care about your scholarship, your being an expert in the subject matter if we cannot even understand the lesson because you try to make it more complicated than it is already. I've met teachers like that who feel that because they are experts, they are intelligent, they are summa cum laude, they're valedictorian, that they don't care if the students understand it or not. My standards are high. You know, sometimes teachers will say that. Half of the class failed because my standards are very high. You know, I keep my standards very high. Okay, your standards may be very high, but where is your concern? Where is your compassion? Where is your heart of a teacher who really is inside the classroom to help, especially the weakest ones? That's the heart of a good teacher. He or she keeps in mind, especially those who are in most need of their help. That's when we can say we are really good teachers with the heart of a teacher. Okay, Kaina posted here, when a certain student comes to school to learn, he, she is being loved at home, but when he, she is not being loved at home, he, she comes to school to be loved. Very nice. Later on, we're going to precisely talk about why teaching is not just an art, it's hard work. It's hard work. It's not just hard work.
So what happened with this show is I was a newswoman for many years, and an odd one in that I would never read the copy ahead of time. Never read the copy ahead of time because I wanted to get the news when everybody else was. And I really believe in being spontaneous. And so I had not read the copy here in the prompter and didn't feel that I needed to read the background for this particular show because I know it was going to be my teacher, Mrs. Duncan. I'd like to tell you about my favorite teacher. When I was in the 4th grade, I ran home the first day of the 4th grade to tell my dad that I had the best teacher anybody could ever have. Her name was Mrs. Duncan. And during the 4th grade, I wanted to be a 4th grade teacher because of Mrs. Duncan. And I haven't seen Mrs. Duncan since then, and Mrs. Duncan is here today. Mary Duncan. Mrs. Duncan! And I go to read the prompter, and it said her name was Mary. And I lost it. I lost it because I thought her name was Mary? That means her name was Mary Duncan? That means she was a person, and the prompter talked about how she was Mary Duncan, and she had children, and it was a reality check for me in that my teacher, this teacher who was not even on a pedestal, it was like I idolized. Mrs. Duncan was a real person. It was Mrs. Duncan come to life as a real person. Mary Duncan, mother of, wife of, sister to, she's a real person. Do you remember, you know why I loved you so much? Because you always let me lead devotion.
Bless your heart.
And we'd have graham crackers. And Mrs. Duncan would let me lead. I can't believe I'm crying like this, but Mrs. Duncan would let me lead devotion. I remember when I was going to be a missionary and I used to collect money on the playground.
I do remember. You were just ideal. Such an ideal student.
Oh, was I?
Oh, my goodness, yes, yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Unusual.
Well,
if I had a class full of students like Oprah, I would have been floating on air.
so was I your favorite that year?
Oh, of course. But I couldn't let anybody know. Absolutely.
Well, did you know that for the longest time I wanted to be a fourth grade teacher because of you?
I was not aware of inspiring anyone.
I think you did exactly what teachers are supposed to do. They create a spark for learning so that lives with you from then on. It's not just what happened in the fourth grade, but they create an excitement about learning. You made learning fun for me and made me curious about knowing. That's the reason I have a talk show today. Here she was, there on my stage. Not seen her since the fourth grade. Breakdown. But the breakdown, people wonder, why are you crying because of Mrs. Duncan? I was crying because of everything, because of every feeling I'd ever had about Mrs. Duncan, then in the fourth grade and since then in the fourth grade. So all of that came to one head in that one moment of introducing Mrs. Duncan.
Okay, well, that's the favorite teacher of Oprah. You take note that she didn't mention the subject that Mrs. Thompson was teaching. Um, I mean, it didn't matter what subject she was teaching. As James Bondoc shared with us here, this is precisely a summary of that video of Oprah. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's what it is. Oprah never forgot her teacher because she felt that motivation, that desire to be able to do something great, something good, thanks to her teacher, Mrs. Duncan, not Mrs. Thompson, Mrs. Duncan. And so that's also a very good reminder for us teachers. They don't care about how much you know and what you know until they know how much you care. And those are the people we remember very much. By the way, let me tell you, because we are now thinking of the next school year, research says on the first day of the school year, three things are on top of the mind of every student. Okay? As you prepare for the new school year, have this very much in your mind. Three things, according to research, are on top of the mind of every student. Number one, can I say, am I in the right classroom? Whether it is real classroom or Google Classroom or Zoom room, am I in the right classroom? Number two, can I sit anywhere? This is for the face-to-face setup. Can I sit anywhere? That's on top of the mind of every student. But number three is what I'm most interested in. According to research, The third thing is very much on top of the mind of every student on day one. They want to know, who are you as a teacher? Who are you as a teacher? Are you going to be like those teachers in the past who hurt me, made fun of me, laughed at me, made the class laugh at my mistakes? Who are you as a teacher? Or are you going to be like those who cared for me, who inspired me, who took care of me? Who are you as a teacher? Day one, they want to know what kind of teacher we are. Well, on day one, in my many years as a teacher, I will make sure I give them my biggest, widest, fakest smile. Okay. I will make sure that in the way I welcome them to my classroom, that I want to reach out to them, that I want to tell them, let's work together and make this a really successful year for all of you. On day one, in the first minute, I want them to see that, because that will determine how things are going to be for the rest of the year. Children are like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an impression. Whatever they see in you, whatever they observe of you, how do you react in a frustrating situation? I mean, really, when they discover that half the class failed, they're interested. How will ma'am or sir react to this? What will be his reaction? Will he shout, scream, yell, get angry? Will he curse at us? Or will he or she say, class, I am frustrated, I am disappointed, I'm giving you another chance? Then they will see, okay, failure is not a tragic thing, or that mom is so considerate, because mom even said, it's possible that maybe you had problems with the Wi-Fi, because it's a reality. Even you and I, come on, let's admit it. You and I, mom, sir, experience problems with our Wi-Fi at home. And so sometimes the students may also encounter the same kind of problems we do. So when one day the student tells you, sir, I wasn't able to submit the homework online set up, right? I wasn't able to submit the homework because we had problems with the globe or smart at home. Don't entertain, maybe this guy is just putting one over me. Maybe this guy is just trying to put one over me and make a fool out of me. Maybe, the, please don't punish yourself unnecessarily with those thoughts. Just accept the fact that, okay, it's possible. We can encounter difficulties, technical difficulties every now and then. And then maybe just put in place a certain system by which they cannot fool you about that. For example, don't tell them, by tomorrow I need this submitted. No, tell them, I'm giving you 3 days or even 4 days. I'm sure at any day of those 4 days, uh, your Wi-Fi is working perfectly. Okay? So please, class, what I suggest you to do is to do the assignment and finish it as soon as you can. And then you have 4 days allowance to be able to submit it. Okay? So don't come to me later on where our Wi-Fi didn't work. Globe was down, Smart was down. Not in those 4 days. I'm giving you enough allowance. So be open to these possibilities, but don't unnecessarily punish yourself thinking, are they putting one over me? Are they making a fool out of me? Be forgiving, be understanding, as we also uh, need understanding every now and then, because for us, we also experience Wi-Fi disconnection every now and then. So the way we react to situations, those things the students are observing, and they're like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an impression, and that impression can be very lasting. Okay, here's a very good quotation to consider. The test of a good teacher is not how many questions he can um, make his pupils, or what's this? He can ask his pupils that they will answer readily, but how many questions he inspires them to ask him, which he finds it hard to answer. You see, our job sometimes inside the classroom is simply to inspire, to inspire them to want to learn more, to inspire them to read the book on their own, to inspire them to do advanced studies, to inspire them to do extra work, additional exercises for them to be able to understand the lesson that we're trying to teach them. And this word is going to come out again and again. Inspire them, motivate them, open their minds to the possibilities of what they can do. A great teacher is one who inspires, not just one who covers the curriculum. Here's another very important quotation. If you are to be a teacher who makes an impact, teaching kids to count is fine, but teaching them what counts, that's what is best. And what counts, what really matters, that they grow up to be good people, successful people, but especially men and women of character. I mean, think about it. You have some people who became experts in math, and now they are using their expertise in math to steal from the government fund, to steal from taxpayers' money. You have people who are very good in expressing themselves, communication skills, but they're using that to deceive people, to fool people, to put one over people. I mean, what's the point of teaching them those skills if they will just end up using them to abuse others, to step on the rights of others? That's why, very important, please, very important that we have that in mind. We are not just in the teaching profession in order to make them understand the lesson. We are there in order to make them grow up to be good men and women of character. Okay, that is what is important. Teaching them to count is fine, but teaching them what counts, what matters, what really is um, important, that's what even is best. I'm sure you have come across this quotation so many times in the past. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, but the great teacher inspires. This seminar today is an invitation to all of you, dear fellow teachers. Let us not just be mediocre, please. Not even just good, not even just superior. Let us be great ones who inspires. That's why one thing I need to tell you, teachers, let's face it, di ba? The generation of young people today, it's so different. They are not as kind and courteous anymore. When I was a younger teacher, if I tell a student, John, sit down, John is going to sit down and keep quiet with respect because it's the teacher already who said it. Today, you can have a student. You tell John, sit down. You know what John is going to do? He's going to look at you. And then he's going to mumble. Dami-daming tao dito nakatayo, ako lang sasabihan. So many kids here, so many other students standing here, and he's picking on me. I mean, you know, students like that, sometimes you want to kill them, right? I mean, I'm exaggerating. Okay, we don't kill people. But you have sometimes students like that who will answer back, who will show their defiance, who are not reluctant to even show them that they don't want to follow you like that. Now, let me tell you a story. I had a student like that in an all-boys school, okay? All-boys school, wow. And it was third year high school. You know, every time I tell him, Jay, come on, sit down. He's going to look at me angry, like as if I did something wrong in telling him to sit down. But I noticed that Jay, his classmates listened to him. The classmates of Jay listened to him. You know, if I tell the class, come on, bring newspapers for our newspaper drive, huh? So that we are not the kulelat, the last in the competition. So if I tell the class, bring newspapers, nobody will bring. But if Jay stands up in front of the class, hey class, tomorrow newspapers, bugbugin ko pag wala kayo. I'll beat you up if you don't bring newspapers. Everyone would bring newspapers and we would win the competition. We would have the highest number of kilos in newspaper drive for the of the school, fundraising of the school. So I noticed he had leadership quality. People listened to him. People believed in him. So one day I did a crazy thing. J, come here. You know, I'm going to put up a club, a student organization. I'm going to call it Organization for Student Empowerment. And I'm going to make you the president. Okay? Now, here's what you do, Jay. Get five of your best friends in the class. There are 35 of us, 35 of them in the third year class. Get five of your best friends, those that you can work with. Okay? And then I know you have a house in Tagaytay. Let's have a leadership seminar there in your house in Tagaytay. Huh? Let's say this Friday night. Let's stay overnight there, and then I'm going to give you a class on leadership, on project management, and then let's plan out activities for the rest of the year of organization for student empowerment. And then please tell your dad, borrow his van for us. And then tell your dad to give us na then the dinner, breakfast, lunch, provide the food. Okay, that's what we did that Friday, Saturday. He chose five of his best friends. We went to their house in Tagaytay. We had leadership seminar. We had discussion on um, project management and things like that. And that club went on to organize medical mission for the janitors, security guards, maintenance men, auxiliary staff. We went on to organize a Christmas party for the street children behind the school. We went on to organize a visit to the orphanage, visit to the home for the aged, and we did a lot of spectacular um, outreach activities thanks to that JJ leadership of the Organization for Student Empowerment. And I'm glad I did not give up on Jay when it was easy to give up on a defiant student like that, because the JJ I'm talking about served as three-term governor of Quezon Province, JJ Suarez. And he's now Congressman JJ Suarez. Here's the message for all of you, dear teachers. What I want to tell you is don't give up on any of your students. For all you know, some of those students inside your class someday will be very powerful, influential, and very rich. What will you do if you learn that one of your students inside the classroom is someday going to be the president of the Philippines? What will you do? I mean, I'm sure you're not going to say, "Oh no, the future president of the Philippines is here. I better give more math drills. I better give more math exercises." Of course not. I know what you're going to do if you discover by dint of, I don't know, the revelation. If you realize that one of your students is going to be the future president of the Philippines, you know what you're going to do? You're going to teach for character. You're going to inspire them to do good all the time. You're going to talk always about virtues, values like honesty, uprightness, morals, never cheating, never lying. That's what you're going to do if you realize in your class is the future president of the Philippines. Now, please believe me, that is the reality. There in your classroom are people who are someday going to be powerful, influential, and rich, and you better prepare them for that position of power, position of influence, position where they can make a difference in the lives of so many people. Teach in your classroom like as if you're preparing the future leaders of our society. Inspire them, not just cover the curriculum. Don't be mediocre, not even just good, not even just superior. Be a great teacher because the students are counting on you. You see, teaching is not just about filling a pail, it's lighting a fire. Because I tell you, as I mentioned earlier, Some of your students come inside the classroom with an unlit candle, and they come from very dark background, darkness at home, darkness with their friends, darkness in the community. I mean, really, the kind of world we're living in right now is a very dark thing. Pandemic, lockdown, quarantine, deprivation of many things that we cannot do that we otherwise want to do. This is very dark. And then you watch TV Patrol, 24 Horas, Action TV, and you read about crimes, rape, murder, assaults, robbery. I mean, this is the kind of world that we're living in right now. This is a very dark place. And the students come inside their classroom telling you, "Sir, ma'am, please light my candle. I don't want to be in the dark anymore. Let us light candles of the students so that this world, in spite of the pandemic, the quarantine, the lockdowns, in spite of wars and rumors of wars that are reported in the primetime news, will come to an end. The darkness will be dispelled by the candles that we will light, held by the students entrusted to your care." So we keep on going back to that expression. You are not just entrusted with subjects to teach, you are entrusted with young people to take care of, to mold the minds of, to raise to become good. If we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. Here's something I always tell teachers. Teachers, please don't teach the way you were taught by your grade 5 teacher, okay? Don't teach them the way you were taught in the 1980s, because if that's what you're doing, teaching them according to how you were taught in the 1980s, congratulations, you're preparing the students today for the 1990s. That's not what we are preparing them for. We are preparing them for a future we cannot even describe. I mean, 20 years ago, did you ever imagine that we will have Facebook, social media? We are so connected. You can even make a phone call from the mountains. I mean, 20 years ago, I never imagined that. But now we are in this situation, and we cannot even imagine how is the world going to be 20 years from now. We cannot imagine. But yes, values remain the same. Respect, responsibility, kindness, courtesy, all these will not change. They have to remain the same. Goodness. I'm even going to put in fear of God, faith, practice of religion. Because research tells us that the young people today are not as afraid of God as we are. They're losing faith. They're losing this practice of the religion, of relationship with God. We have to put that in. That's why, well, we're lucky that this country is very religious. We even start and end our classes with a prayer. In the United States, they prohibit that. You know that? The government prohibits even the display of the crucifix inside the classroom because they think it's an imposition on people. Well, that's not true. So let us go against the grain and make sure that these young people are prepared to be still the good people they should be for tomorrow. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. So all the things that we mentioned are the same: inspire, motivate, awaken joy in creative expression. They all are synonyms, really. That's why we have to be a great teacher, not just covering the curriculum, not just going over the lesson, but really inspiring these young people to become better human beings. If a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Okay, I've mentioned this already earlier. I'm not a I'm not a fan of teachers who brag about many students failing in their class. We need to ask those teachers, ma'am, maybe you need to teach another way that they can learn, through which the students can learn. Okay? That's what we need to do. But especially in the first place, to do the powerful example of our life, we teach more by what we are than by what we say. As I said, especially for those of you who may have missed the first part of the presentation, we teach the young people to do our example. They will learn kindness in the way we teach them with kindness, in the way we deal with them with kindness. They will learn professionalism in the way we come inside the classroom every single day punctually, on time, and then teach professionally, teach well. Okay? Okay, you and I are adults. We are old here. We're not dealing with kids. Let's be frank. We have seen teachers who are what we call pasaway. I mean, those of you who have been teachers for a long time, you've had colleagues who are like that. Not like you. You are an exceptional teacher. That's why you even invest time attending sessions like this, attending seminars like this. You want to grow, you want to improve, you want to gather certificates because you are a good teacher. You want to become a better teacher. Okay, but we've had colleagues, or as students, we encountered teachers who are pasaway, minimalist. You know, the minimalist teachers who, when they enter the classroom, not only are they late, they lose time, they teach poorly, like as if you don't see the passion, you don't see the real desire for the students to learn and to become better and to improve. Yung they don't even hesitate to show, if only I can have another job, I don't want to do this. Class, if only I had a choice, I would not want to meet you. That kind that kind of teacher who look like this kind of teacher who looks like he is being dragged to go inside the classroom, forced to go inside the classroom, like as if it's a punishment for him or for her to be inside the classroom. You know, um, if we can only tell teachers like that, ma'am, sir, uh, sell insurance na lang. I mean, choose another profession, because the teaching profession is a very noble one. It's a very high one. It's not just an employment. It's a mission, a vocation, a business of enhancing lives. That's what the teaching profession is. So please don't bring your your sour problems at home inside the classroom. Spare the students of that bitterness that you have inside you. Don't teach. There's a Chinese proverb that says, "He who does not know how to smile should not open a shop." He who does not know how to smile should not open a shop. We can apply it to teaching. He who does not know how to smile, please don't enter the profession. He who does not know how to care, don't come to the teaching profession. Because as a general rule, teachers teach more by what we are than by what we say. This is a very important. So you are a noble, you are in a very noble profession. And I'd like to spend this remaining few slides, the remaining time that we have, giving a tribute to you, thanking you, regardless of the past. Okay? Some of us may have been like that before. We dragged our feet. We just covered the curriculum. We were not impacting lives. We even showed our bitterness inside the classroom. We used profanities. We attacked our principal. We criticized our school. We may have committed mistakes like that. But here's the beautiful thing about teaching. Every year, every new school year is a fresh new start, regardless of how things were in the past. Okay, so it doesn't matter how things may have been in the past. If you were not a spectacular teacher in the past, it's okay. The beautiful thing about teaching is every new school year is a fresh new beginning. regardless of how things are. Okay? And I want you, because of this seminar, to excitedly look forward to a new school year when you are going to tell yourself, I'm going to be the best teacher I can possibly be, better than I ever was in the last 5 years, as some of you have been teaching, 10 years, as some of you have, 34 years, like Ma'am Rosario has been, better than ever before, making an impact, enhancing lives, really changing lives of our young people. Okay, so I'd like to spend the remaining of my time with you giving a tribute to all of you, dear teachers. This is for all of you. These quotations will drive home the point about you are doing a great thing. Okay, you're making a big difference, in fact. A good teacher is one who can understand those who are not very good at explaining and explains to those who are not very good at understanding. We have in mind when we're inside the classroom, especially the weakest ones, especially the problematic ones, those who are hardest to like. I mean, teachers don't deny, minsan, in the past, you enter the classroom, you look around and you say, "Wait, John is absent today. Thank you, Lord. It's going to be a great day today." Because we've had this, some students in our mind who are tough to handle, headaches, you can even sometimes call them. But let me tell you, they're the ones who come inside the classroom asking for our help. And the way they ask for help is not by saying, "Mom, help me." No, the way they do it is they become problematic. They become troublesome. They have to be corrected. "John, sit down. John, sit up straight. John, stop talking. John, face here. John, eyes on the board." But you know, there are other better ways of doing it without ever calling the name of John anymore. Classroom management. Attend that seminar on June 24 when we run it. There are ways of being able to get John to do what you want him to do without ever having to get angry. But please don't give up on any one of them. That's the message. Um, they need you more than the other students. And so let's find ways of being able to do it effectively, because there are ways of being able to do it effectively. Read the book of Harry Wong, First Days of School, Strategies and Strategies on How to Manage a Class Successfully. Yan. When you think of the problematic students, naughty students, you see a student like that. But that is the kind of kid who comes to the classroom with an unlit candle telling you, "Ma'am, sir, please light my candle. I don't want to be in the dark anymore." And we are there to light their candles, to give them the flame that will show them the way, to make them see that, hey, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to be like that for the rest of your life. I'll help you. Hold on to me. Hang on. I'm going to show you the way. I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you the way to developing hard work, kindness, courtesy, obedience, docility. We can. That's the power of a teacher. I mean, think about it. Who else is in a position to be able to do that? Parents, okay? But some parents are absent, so we take their place. Who else can do that? Pastors, priests, nuns, religious, right? They're in a position. But they only do it once a week when the people go to church. But we can do it for 200 class days. That's how powerful our job is. That's how noble our job is. That's how spectacularly important the teaching profession is. We are in a position to provide the flame that lights the path of a child. Have you ever realized it? Have you ever thought about it? That's the kind of work we do. So, a teacher is a special friend whose love and kindness never ends. That's why we love our teachers so much. We look back and we realize, wow, they gave their heart to us. They didn't just give us science, math, English, social studies, Filipino. They gave a big chunk of their heart in forming us, in raising us to become good people. Now, let me just talk to the young people. the fresh graduates or just about to graduate, because you are the ones who fall in sometimes who fall into the trap of thinking, I'll be a great teacher, Mr. Antoy. I will be a friend to all my students. I will be a barkada to them. We will speak the same language. I will even invite them to eat with me in McDo, in Jollibee, with a towel chicken, with a joy chicken, chicken joy, not chicken towel. I'll be a friend to them. Now, here's what we need to tell young teachers. And I know there are some of you here in our audience, some following in Facebook. I'm talking to you, young teachers, or about to begin as teachers. You are not meant to be friends with your students. You are not just meant to be mere friends of your students. Worse, you're not meant to be barkada of your students. You are there to become role models for them. That is what they need. Understand that very clearly, please, especially those who are just about to begin teaching. You are not going to work hard to become a barkada of your students, okay? You are going to work hard to be a role model, someone they look up to, someone that they will say, when I grow up, I want to be like that. Ma'am, sir, with their professionalism, with their virtues, with their values, with their commitment, with the kind of dedication that they put into their work. I want to be like that. That is the kind of role model that we should be, not merely friends. I've seen this tragically end in many years. I've been in the profession, I've been a principal, I've been a vice principal. I have seen young students end up tragically because they try too hard to be popular. Para bang tumatakbo sa popularity contest. Trying too hard to be a friend of everyone. Trying too hard to be the favorite teacher of everyone. No, you're not just meant to be a popular friend. You have to be a role model, someone they look up to. Be friendly, be very, very friendly. And that's a different thing. But you are not just meant to be a friend, you're meant to be a role model. Okay? Sorry if I sound like we are reprimanding the young people, the young teachers, but this is very important because I've seen it tragically end in many cases. A teacher who tries so hard to be popular, like as if he's running in a popularity contest, goes out with students to eat in McDo and Jollibee. And then one day inside the classroom, they get angry at the class because they are rowdy. And the students get confused. Oh, why are you getting angry at us? I thought we're friends. We ate out nga eh. We even drank beer together eh. The students are confused. You confused them because you thought you're just meant to be friends. You're not. You're meant to be a role model. Have that very clear in mind. And I can only wish you luck. Be the popular teacher you can be because you are an ideal teacher, an ideal human being for them, someone they look up to. Teaching is a, sorry, we skip. Teaching is the profession that teaches all the other professions. That's how important our job is. That's how important your work is. The students inside your classroom, they are going to be the future lawyers, doctors, presidents of companies, politicians, security guards, maintenance men. Okay, that's a noble profession. Here's the here's what we have to think of, dear teachers. If something is wrong with a table, it's very easy to say, who's the carpenter who did it? Return it to the carpenter. Return it to the carpenter. But if a person grows up to be immoral, corrupt, like a politician, stealing from the government money, from the taxpayers' money, you cannot say, who's the values teacher of this politician? Who taught this guy return him to grade 5, return him to grade 6, let him learn GMRC again? You cannot. You cannot. You only have one shot. The 200 class days you have with them, the one school year you have with them in that subject, in that English, Filipino, religion, social studies, math, science, that's the only time you have. Form them to become good people, not just smart, but especially good. Teachers, we impact for a not just for a year, but for a lifetime. And as I said, many of us chose to become teachers thanks to one teacher or another who inspired us. That's why make sure the impact we live, the mark we leave in the students is something really positive, something really good. Example is not another way to teach, it's the only way to teach. Okay, and this is not the first time we're saying it. I'm sure you've heard it in the last 2 hours, 1.5 hours that I've been talking. 1 hour and 42 minutes that we have been talking. I've repeated it something like 6 times already to do the powerful example of our life. So, love teaching. A teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, touches a heart, and shapes the future. How the Philippines is going to be in the next 10 years, 20 years, is according to how you and I are teaching the young people. I mean, think about it. That's the impact of our work. How the Philippines is going to be 20 years from now depends on how you and I are raising these young people in the classroom, in the online class, how we are teaching them virtues, values. That's how important and noble our job is. It's not just mere employment. You teach a little by what you say, you teach the most by what you are. Again, powerful example of our life. To teach is to touch lives forever. True. Ask Ma'am Rosario. She has seen it in all these 34 years that she has been teaching. A little child is like a worthless stone on the road. We make him, shape him, polish him, and shine him to make a gem. All the successful professionals out there are successful thanks to their parents, but also thanks to the great teachers who formed them, shaped them, molded them, polished them. Teachers, we owe you a lot. The world owes you a lot. And then I remind you again, now that we are encountering more and more troubles at home, students, many of them now are coming inside their classroom and they are bruised, scarred, hurting at home because they were abandoned. I mean, I've seen many cases like that. The father just suddenly abandoned the family. The mother just suddenly packed her things and left, and no word, just abandoned the family. I mean, it's happening more and more now. And then the students come inside their classroom. They're not looking for addition, subtraction, multiplication. They're looking for love. They're looking for understanding. They're looking for consideration. They're looking for a parent, the third parent. Let's not fail them. But that's what many of you are doing. You're providing the vacuum that is left there by problems that are encountered at home. That is how important our job is. So I can only say thank you, teachers. Please don't quit. Thank you, dear teachers. That's for all of you. And it's a sincere gratitude. As I started with a thank you in the beginning, we have to end with thank you, because really what you're doing is a very great thing. Okay? It's not just hard work, it's hard work. And well, I hope you have been inspired to be the best teachers you can possibly be. This is now your chance to shine. We have to say, long live teachers. Don't get sick. Stay healthy, stay well, stay safe, because the young people are counting on us now more than ever. Believe it or not, even in this kind of environment that we find ourselves in. Okay, well, let me talk to you now about certificates, because everyone wants a certificate, right? All of you are going to get a certificate indicating international seminar attendance. Um, some public schools require certificate of participation. Just write me an email later if that's the kind of certificate you want. But all of you, especially those who pre-registered, this is how you get your certificate. Please send an email to I want my certificate at gmail.com. Okay? Indicate nobility. Put nobility in the title so that I know that's the specific certificate you are asking for. And then write the full name that you want to appear in the certificate. Okay? Please don't forget that, because sometimes I receive an email without the name. Well, what can I do? Write nobility as the title, and then the full name that you want to appear in the certificate. Send it to I want my certificate at gmail.com, and you should be able to receive your certificate today or tomorrow. Promise. If you email it today or tomorrow, you will receive the certificate at the latest tomorrow. Okay? And then this PowerPoint presentation can be downloaded from the Facebook page called Manrentoy Downloadables. If you are not there yet with us, look for us, join, and then wait to be accepted. The PowerPoint has not been uploaded. I'm going to post the link where you can download it here in this Facebook page in the next 15 minutes. Okay? And you can download the whole thing. And I give you permission to use the PowerPoint presentation to inspire your other teachers. Okay. Yes. Now, just as an invitation, because this is what I always do anyway, where I'm running another series, June 21 to 25, um, high impact seminars for 5 days, 3 to 5 p.m. only. And again, the certificates issued for that would be self-directed learning, pero it's international seminar classification. There are 5 topics that I'm offering. On June 21, it's creating school culture that works for student success, 3 to 5 p.m. On June 22, Tuesday, building moral intelligence, one brick at a time, 3 to 5 p.m. June 23 is on challenges and strategies in engaging students, 3 to 5 p.m. also. And then what I mentioned earlier, the power of effective class advisory, creating a culture, mindset, identity in your class. That's for June 24. And then June 25 is classroom management. How to get John do what you want him to do without you ever having to resort to shouting, screaming, and yelling. Okay? These seminars are actually for a fee, 300 pesos per seminar. But if you're a participant in today's session, you can avail of the tickets at 200 only per session. Okay? And then you register for 5 days, you only pay for 4. So that's only 800 pesos for 5 seminars. And even better yet, get 7 teachers of your colleagues to register together. One is free. Okay? That's a special offer we give to our participants today. As of now, there are around 300 registered participants for the June 21 to 25 sessions. Join us in characterconferences.com if you want to know more about what we do. And any question you have, or you want to register, you want to reserve tickets, you want to get the details on how to be able to form part of that special Back to School, Back to Excellence series, email us at catalystpds@gmail.com so I can send you the complete details. Okay, and that's my email address. For any question, I didn't get to open the floor for questions. So whatever questions you may have, please feel free to email us.